Welcome to my color grading studio. Today I'm going to show you every piece of kit I use in my work, and I'll also cover exactly how much everything costs. First off, let's start with one of the most important pieces of kit you're going to need if you'd like to work in color professionally, the control surface. This is Blackmagic Design's mini panel. It allows me to adjust my images by using these trackballs and encoders which correspond with DaVinci Resolve's tools. Having this means that I don't need to use my mouse, and this significantly improves my speed and accuracy. I can make multiple adjustments at once. For example, I can move my lift and gain wheels simultaneously to increase contrast. So this is by far my favorite piece of gear in my entire studio, and before upgrading to this mini panel, I used to work on the smaller micro panel. And this was my humble setup when I was starting out. But with time, I was able to gradually invest in more of the gear that you see now. Both the mini and micro panels have got fantastic build quality, so you can be confident that they're going to last. Now, in terms of connection, this is connected to my PC via a USB cable, and it's powered by a standard power cable. This investment set me back $2,500, but I do think it's worth every penny. Next, let's move on to the second most important piece of gear, the reference monitor. I just recently upgraded mine and I got the 31.5-inch LG EP950. This is an OLED display in UHD resolution, so I can see true 4K signal, which is a major upgrade from my previous HD reference monitor. It's true 10-bit bit depth, and it fully covers Rec 709 and P3D65, so this is perfect for web, broadcast and theatrical work. Its maximum brightness is 540 nits, so this may not be a good choice for HDR work, but it's excellent for SDR. For me, the biggest benefit in getting this display was the huge contrast ratio of 1,000,000:1, and this is one of the key specs you want to pay attention to when purchasing a reference display. A higher contrast ratio means deeper blacks and brighter whites, so even when working with dark footage, I can see a lot more detail in the shadows compared to my previous reference display, a BenQ PV270. And here is how their specs compare side by side. Now, in terms of the price, this monitor cost me $3,300, and I'd say it's a mid-range option, especially when compared to Flanders Scientific or Sony. But at this stage, it's perfect for what I need. On the back of the monitor, I have my bias lighting. This is the MediaLight MK2. It's a highly accurate D65 LED strip intended for post-production professionals. The reason why colorists don't work in complete darkness and they use bias lighting is because this reduces the strain on your eyes. Additionally, it improves your display's perceived contrast. This is the first thing I bought as soon as I got my first reference display. It's $100, so it's definitely not cheap, but it's a must-have and your eyes will appreciate it. Next, since we're on the topic of monitors, you can see that I have two additional screens. On the right hand side, I've got my old BenQ PV270 and I use it for my Resolve GUI. On the left side, I got the cheapest 4K monitor I could find at the time. It's not important because it's only there to show me my scopes, and I like to have them in a 9-up mode so they take up the entire screen. These two cost me about $1,300 in total. Now let's talk about this device right here, which is really incredible. This is the Stream Deck XL, and it's super handy because you can set up unlimited keyboard shortcuts to the 32 LCD keys you have available. So instead of typing a shortcut combination on your keyboard, you can easily access it at a single click of a button. Getting this significantly speeded up my work, and I think it's a brilliant piece of kit to have regardless if you're a colorist, an editor or a graphic designer. I'm using 3 custom-made profiles from SideShowFX. This gives me these beautiful icons that quickly tell me what each button does, and I have separate profiles installed for DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro and After Effects. I've laid them out myself so that I can quickly access the shortcuts that I personally use all the time. So after 4 years of using my Stream Deck, I can honestly say I cannot work without it. And if you do have a Stream Deck or a Loop Deck, I highly recommend checking out SideShowFX because they have really beautiful profiles for a number of different apps. And I'm in no way associated with them, I just genuinely enjoy using their products. In terms of cost, the Stream Deck was only $275 plus an extra $55 for the SideShowFX profiles. So I think investing in one of these is a no-brainer. Just off to the side, I have an iPad Pro 10.5-inch. I use it occasionally to check my grades on multiple screens just to make sure that everything looks good. Next up, the keyboard. This is the Logitech MX Keys, which is a wireless keyboard and it can be connected to 3 devices simultaneously. It works both for Windows and Mac, and you can see how the keys are labeled accordingly. This keyboard is a very popular choice amongst colorists because it has backlighting, and it's also really clever because it only activates when your hands are directly above it. Its battery life is fantastic. I usually charge this only once a month, and since I prefer low-profile keyboards, getting this was an obvious choice. This cost me $110, so it's definitely not cheap for a keyboard, but I do think it's worth it. Now let's talk about a really important aspect of your color grading studio, the paint. To make sure that you're working in a neutral, highly controlled environment, your walls should be painted in an 18% middle grey color. The paint I went for was Benjamin Moore's Steel Wool Shade. This is the equivalent of N5 based on Albert Munzel's value scale. It's dark, but I personally like it this way, and in terms of the cost, for the small size of my room, 2.7 liters were sufficient, and so this cost me about $100. Next, at the back of my desk, I have a UPS that powers my PC and one of the monitors, so in case of a power cut, I have plenty of time to save my work and shut down my system properly. Finally, let's talk about the PC and its specs. I'm on a Windows 10 custom-built PC with the NVIDIA 3080 GPU, 128GB of RAM, 4TB NVMe SSD, and 20TB of regular hard drive storage. Inside, I have Blackmagic Design's Decklink Mini Monitor 4K. This is a playback and capture card, and it's connected to my reference display via an HDMI cable so that I can get a clean feed from DaVinci Resolve. And here is the tip if you're experiencing the dreaded HDMI dropouts on your reference display. I was constantly getting blackouts on my monitor and I couldn't figure out what was causing it, but after thorough research online, I found out that an active HDMI splitter would solve the issue. So I got a Techly HDMI splitter, and indeed it worked like a charm. So this device is connected to my Decklink via an HDMI, and another HDMI cable connected to my reference display. So this PC has been excellent and it served me well for almost 4 years now. But as new workflows and higher resolutions require a ton of processing power, I'm in much need of an upgrade. So tell me what I should switch to next. I'm ready to go over to the dark side and switch to Apple after a lifetime on Windows. So if you're on a Mac and would recommend it, please drop a comment below and tell me what your specs are. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.